Hello and welcome to Friday Double Bill, where we bring you the best of Bollywood and Hollywood.
On the reviews this week, we have Bobby Jasoos, the huge Vidya Balan starrer. There's a Hollywood release, The Fault in Our Stars, and of course, we're talking about the trailer of the Akshay Kumar film, It's Entertainment.
First up is the OMG Moments from Bobby Jasoos.
डिटेक्टिव जॉब अब बॉबी अपनी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड खोलेंगी।
एक केस है, किसी को ढूंढना है, ढूंढने की फीस 50,000।
आमना की तलाश।
दिल ये गुनगुनाए, ऐवे मुस्कुराए, जश्न है ये मेरे दिल का।
इस घर में जासूसी का और तमाशा नहीं होना।
इन्हीं छोटी छोटी गलियों में तेरी किस्मत चमकेंगी बॉबी। बिल्किस अहमद इसी मुगलपुरे में बॉबी जासूस बन के दिखाएंगी।
Well, you know, at some level, Bobby Jasoos is a series of images and sequences where Vidya Balan is supposed to be appearing in various get-ups. And I think my oh my god moment, or the OMG moment, would have to be when she comes in as the palmist in the film. She's absolutely unrecognizable, and the curiosity that builds up with the scene is because she's right next to her dad, an extremely stern, conservative father who would not like her daughter to be sitting like that. And she reads the palm of the sister and tells her that, hey, you know what, your elder sister is going to make it big. And I thought there's a really funny moment. At the same time, it hits you because that doesn't look like Vidya Balan.
That's right. In fact, all these various get-ups, disguises, is just part of the thing. Some of them work, some don't.
Yeah.
But this is a film that has its heart in the right place. And I think what was wonderful for me was when she mobilizes her entire family, including her mother, her khala, her various siblings, and takes them all on a round of savoring Hyderabadi biryanis because
right.
she's trying to find a clue, and she takes the unwitting family along, and by which time they've eaten so much biryani that they don't want to ever look at it again. And this stern father that you talk about is also delighted when he first gets a box of biryani
and he keeps getting it
lunchtime, and he keeps
right?
getting it,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Too much of a biryani is not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is always that element of food pornography that you have to see in a film that is set in Hyderabad, right?
That's
and it's
right.
going to be all biryani, and thankfully it doesn't last too long.
No.
I don't know why they needed to eat that much of it though. But then I think the other thing, I have this thing for finding Chotu plot holes, and Chotu holes actually minor quibbles. And what was really bothering me is, for my oh my god moment too, is Vidya Balan, who's so ecstatic because she's just won her first contract and it's 50,000 rupees, and she's going nuts because she's never seen that kind of money. And I'm looking at her throughout the film. The phone she's holding is an iPhone 5 and probably an iPhone 5S, and that was really, really bothering me.
That's interesting you say that, because I actually found that they had covered that up by saying that she has no compunctions. She has a sidekick who runs a small mobile repair shop, and
right.
she's basically whacking these phones from him.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the movie, really, man. Of course,
right.
I'm being flippant. Yeah.
Yeah, let's. I don't think there's much product placement
Right.
happening there. But for me, my sort of oh my god moment there was the hero Ali Fazal, which wonderful, emasculated slightly male character for a change in a Hindi film, very refreshing. Suddenly breaks out into this fantasy Sufi song, which is in full flowing Pathani suit, salwar kurtas, and he's basically channelizing Shah Rukh Khan, and all those broad gestures of Shah Rukh are being emulated. It's embarrassing actually. And I was just wondering, I know that Vidya Balan is very, very fond of Shah Rukh, but Ali Fazal ain't no SRK. And
Well, not yet anyway. That's the big problem that you face in so many films where they don't need to go that route. They haven't gone that route yet. Unless you have an Imran Hashmi in a film like Dirty Picture, then you have to make him kiss, and there has to be a Sufi song. But with Ali Fazal, it's not that important. I think somewhere down the line, it really bothers you because the rest of the film is really good.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, Ali, but Ali Fazul moment, that one.
Well, now let's get on to the review of Bobby Jasoos. Bobby Jasoos obviously is about a Jasoos called Bobby, except Bobby is more of a wannabe detective than an established one. The film is set in Hyderabad. Bobby, that is Vidya Balan, belongs to a conservative Muslim family. After a lot of struggle in vain, Bobby finally lands a proper contract from a rich client. This client of hers wants her to find one particular person from across the crowded city. The only information he gives her is the name of the missing person and her birthmark. Of course, this is an impossible assignment. Bobby cracks the first case. The same mystery man doubles her salary and offers her a similar case again. The suspense in this detective drama revolves around who is this mystery man and why is he looking for these supposedly missing people in Hyderabad.
So what I loved about this film is that Bobby is Bilkis Banu from Mughalpura in the Charminar area of Hyderabad. Very conservative, lower middle class Muslim enclave, and this wonderful energy and ambiance that has been captured in this area. Just a terrific slice of life. The fact that the plot and things kind of really don't matter. There's tons of plot potholes, loopholes, all of the above. But at the end of the day, it's just a really charming film with its heart in the right place, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, I kind of agree with you. You know, here is this feisty, fearless female hero, as it were. And at the same time, clearly the undertone is going to be feminist, very strongly feminist. But at no point is this thrust in your face. It's implied, but not slapped across, on the screen throughout. Also, I just felt that the whole surrounding, this whole conservative Muslim household, there are various ways in which you can stereotype this.
Yes.
And it doesn't happen throughout the film. Of course, it's patriarchal home, the father is always right, all those things are there. But, there is still empathy for all these characters. And I think it's very smartly done. The plot remains important, but the undercurrent is equally strong. I just felt that there are too many subplots, too much subtext. At some point, I mean, of course, the script has a lot of meat, but it does become an overboiled, overcooked biryani, according to me, at some point.
I agree. Actually, even, the film may have had its genesis in this particular African novel that became very series of detective stories called the First Ladies #1 Detective Agency. Right. Again, sort of set in Botswana, exotic location, a woman who's trying in a patriarchal society to make it. But really, as I was saying, the heart in its right place. You have her struggles, her vicissitudes, if you like, and they've really managed to capture that sort of Muslim ambiance extremely well with a slew of interesting characters, a hero who's not necessarily hero. I mean, Bobby's Bilkis Banu is the hero and terrific stuff.
Yeah, totally. I mean, talking of the hero, of course, this is Vidya Balan. I just love the way how in terms of her career, the way she's scripted her career, how intelligently she's gone about in the past 4-5 years. I think she leaves all her contemporaries behind in terms of the choice of roles and of course the choice of films. More than just the fact that the whole movie is going to be centered on her is not good enough. The movie in itself has to have a lot of drama to support a female lead. I mean, she played that booby soft porn star in the Dirty Picture. She's Bobby Jasoos now. There was No One Killed Jessica. There was Ishqiyan. I think this is like a good range, and certainly this is something that she can add to a CV. But having said that, there's obviously the ensemble cast. I think very well picked. Frankly, that's the problem with the ensemble cast. When they're cast anew, we don't know their names. But I'd love to find out that the fat bumbling assistant of hers. Of course, there was Tanvi Azmi,
Zarina Wahab,
absolutely.
All of them, Supriya Pathak, just wonderful, characters who've just done terrific performances. The Hyderabadi accent is just they sustain it through the film. They don't let go of it. And it just works, and you understand it, and you sort of exult in it. It's really been. You said something very interesting. You call this a meaty film, and I must say that Vidya Balan, as a conventional heroine, has had no compunctions about looking rather sort of chunky on screen, and she's pleasantly plump. She's got facial hair at some point. The camera isn't really trying to, clean up everything. She's just a real woman,
Right.
and she's a. And this is terrific cinema, I think, in terms of the fact that you don't have to worry about it. She's often dowdily dressed. She's often in various sort of disguises. It all boils down to her just lighting up that screen with her luminosity, and more respect to her for that.
Absolutely. I think we've finally reached a point, and she should take credit for it, that the heroine or the female lead or a person on whom the whole film is based doesn't need to be just a pretty face. And I think this film is yet another example of someone who's here to be an actor rather than only a heroine. What's your verdict, Fahad?
Well, it's an emphatic Dheko. Watch it in the cinema halls as soon as you can. I just hope that all these Muslim women who are observing Ramzan right now, who should be watching this film, getting empowered, getting inspired by this film, will watch it at some point. It's just such a delightful piece of cinema.
Well, I just felt that in terms of creative liberties, there are far too many that the film takes, and of course I'm only talking about plot here, but as a movie, it's engaging, it's entertaining, it's certainly a Dheko for the weekend, or perhaps definitely Dheko in the theater, if not this weekend.
So it's a refreshing Dheko from both of us, but let's see what the Desi Martini audience had to say.
Hey guys, let's see today what the Janta has to say about Bobby Jasoos on Desi Martini. The film is currently rated a 3.3 stars, which makes for it a solid watch. Desi Martini also says, Vidya Balan succeeds in providing us with entertainment once again. Bobby Jasoos is a fun and charming mystery movie, but a choppy climax and story loopholes lets it down. This is no kahani, but it is still worth the watch. Movie jockey Smita says that the monsoons have brought with them some cool fresh air and a good movie finally after weeks. So as you see, both the critics and the Janta think this is going to be a hit. So maybe it is a good movie to catch over the weekend. To know more of what our Janta thinks, do log on to desimartini.com and keep watching Friday Double Bill, where we bring you the best from our critics and the Janta.
The fault, dear Brutus, is not in ourselves but in our stars. Here are the OMG moments from the film.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. This is the truth.
Hey, make some friends.
Your real story.
I'm a grenade. One day I'm gonna blow up, and I'm gonna obliterate everything in my wake. And I don't wanna hurt you. I like that version as much as the next girl does.
So she's a grenade, she's going to explode. Well, they certainly exploded at the box office. I think they cleared about $48 million in the first week. They even beat Tom Cruise, who's a grenade unto himself. Pretty darn sensational for what is young adult, cinema. Terrific power of women who can come to the cinema halls and make these kind of numbers. Darn impressive.
Well, getting to the OMG or oh my god moments from the film, I think my best, and of course it's a tough choice, would be towards the end of the movie where Hazel, that's the lead character, she's of course suffers from thyroid cancer, she's on a respirator, she has a huge major lungs problem, and towards the end of the movie she's in Anne Frank's house or Anne Frank's museum in Amsterdam. There's tension in the air because she needs to keep going up and down the staircase, long winding staircase that's there in the museum, and it's a turning point because she doesn't know exactly what's going to happen to her. She was not even supposed to travel according to her doctors. It's a turning point also because she's learning this woman, a huge World War survivor. She's getting inspired by the story, but we also know that something could happen to her, and I think that the tension build up in that scene was just absolutely phenomenal. Of course, we're not going to talk about what exactly happens after.
Oh, we absolutely are, because they end up smooching and sucking face at Anne Frank's house, and everybody, the tourists who come there, start applauding this couple who are basically making out in this shrine to Holocaust survivors.
Right.
Pretty darn OMG.
Yeah. Well, that should not be treated as spoiler purely because there's a lot that happens before and there's a lot that happens after. I think what happens before is a huge long Amsterdam ad. It's a tourism ad which is really bothering me. The second OMG moment according to me, and the negative one, would have to be the whole character of Peter Van Houten. This author, that this leading couple, they seem to be in love with. The girl reads that same book again and again, gets to meet this person, that's why they're in Amsterdam, and he's such a stereotype, unidimensional figure who's a drunk, who just doesn't know how to talk to someone who's come to visit him. I thought that was a complete downer. That character could have been dealt with a whole lot better.
Absolutely. We've seen that in many films. I mean, Sean Connery has played that role. You have that whole J.D. Salinger, reclusive, slightly misanthropic author. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The film is more about other aspects. It's about life and death and what happens in between. And yes, there are several cliches thrown in for good measure. Schmaltzy, they're sort of manipulating you to try and, it's got to be the tearjerker. This is, love story, Eric Siegel's love story for the new generation. Young adults who didn't weep at Ali Magro dying back then can certainly weep copious tears for this one.
Getting on to the review of The Fault in Our Stars.
This romantic tearjerker is a faithful adaptation of the best-selling young adult novel by John Green. Two teenagers, Hazel and Gus, suffer from different forms of cancer. They meet at a local church support group and soon fall in love. Gus is determined to make Hazel's dying wish come true, and they fly to Amsterdam to meet the author of her favorite novel. A tale of star-crossed lovers, the film has some interesting plot twists designed to make viewers both laugh and cry, often at the same time.
Well, the movie is already released in the US. It grossed almost $200 million. Quite obviously, it's a huge hit already. It's come to the Indian theaters now. One of the things that I loved about the film is how simple it is, how non-pretentious it can get to be, how soppy it can get to be. It's philosophical in points, it's poignant in certain moments, and it tells me two things. One, it's already become part of pop culture. I was on Twitter last night and I was following Leslie Chow, that really funny guy from Hangover, and he was making jokes, always jokes, which is a moment in this movie. So clearly it's become part of lexicon, which is great because it just tells us that you don't need to be blasting buildings or blowing up everything around the world to make a $200 million film. It's a $12 million budget picture, which is just clearly making waves.
Absolutely. And the fact that they could even blow Tom Cruise out of the water at the box office is just fantastic and gratifying to note.
Yeah, I also feel that if there was a chicken soup for the soul kind of book or a really good self-help book to be made into a film, it would come very close to this. It's just full of quotable quotes, the kind of stuff that you see on Facebook updates, gyan about life, and at some point, of course, it's a bit too syrupy, a bit too saccharine, a bit too sweet, but hey, I'm a bit of a sucker for such films.
Hey, who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk? So I lost a loved one just 2 weeks ago, and I was ready to go there, loving the film, perhaps see this as a cathartic moment. I must say I wasn't moved as profoundly as I thought I might be. Maybe the fact that it's really geared for young adults and particularly a female demographic may have something to do with it. I went there wanting to love it. I must say I enjoyed it and I appreciated the sincerity of the film, but at the end of the day it left me a little cold and a little manipulated.
So here's the deal, Fahad. I think to truly enjoy this film you need to be 16 in your head, which I don't think you are, and that's your problem, not mine. But having said that, in terms of movie manipulation, as you rightly mentioned, I mean, these are two lead characters who are terminally ill. You know that from scene one. Quite clearly, your heart goes out, right? It's mushy as hell. which again, as I told you, I kind of like. But eventually, at some point or the other, you realize that what it's trying to say to the young adult audience that you're talking about is something very important. There's a whole, fascination with passion for life, making it big, not becoming oblivious. This is one of the points that the Gus character makes.
Right.
But here is a book, or here is a film based on that book that's just telling us that you could be successful purely because you have a loved one. And it's a very important lesson in this world of Three Idiots, where everybody needs to really make it in life and do things that they're passionate about and look at nothing else besides. So purely also from the point of view of the audience is intended for, I was quite impressed.
Absolutely. And I think other than all these homilies and wonderful little quotable quotes, it's also, a wonderful, wonderful exploration of the dynamic between a dying child and the parents, particularly the mother. And one of the most overlooked actresses in Hollywood today, Laura Dern.
Absolutely.
Just an exquisite, nuanced performance. The dynamic between the mother and daughter. There's a really poignant scene where she's in her shower and she comes rushing out in a towel because she hears her daughter just shouting out in excitement, and the daughter is genuinely excited because she's getting to go to Amsterdam. But it just gives you that wonderful insight into the fact that what it must be like to live with somebody who may die at any moment.
Right.
So these are things that really lift the film to another level altogether. Yes, it's painting by numbers in terms of how to get you all choked up. There's some wonderful life lessons, like you say. It's a film that really needs to be seen regardless of how old you are and how cynical you are.
What's the verdict?
It's definitely a Dheko. Catch it. Unfortunately, I was very upset with the censor board of our country, who are allowing all sorts of obscenities to be aired, but they cut out the entire lovemaking scene in this film, which is even there in the trailer, which in conservative USA.
Right, and nobody thought of cutting out all the violence from Transformers 4, right?
Absolutely.
And that is obviously perfectly fine to watch a violent film, but let's not watch anything to do with sex. I think so far as my verdict goes, it's a complete Dheko. If need be, or if you're free, is weekend ko dekho. Otherwise, not just theater pe dekho, go to imdb.com and फिर उसके सारे quotable quotes भी देखो.
So once again, we're in tandem, we're in unison, we're saying Dheko, isi weekend pe dekho. But what do the Desi Martini guys have to say about this?
Hey guys, let's see today what the Janta has to say about Fault in Our Stars on Desi Martini. The film is currently rated at 3.1 stars, which does make it a good watch. Desi Martini also says Fault in Our Stars is a teenage romance that you've been waiting for. Its witty writing and fabulous performances make it a must-watch. Don't forget to carry a box of tissues. Movie jockey Mohit Pal says, Sirpi romance made genuinely affecting by elegant, thoughtful handling. Acting top-notch. So as you see, both the critics and the Janta have given it a go. You definitely don't want to miss this one. To know what the Janta thinks of other films? Do log on to desimartini.com. And don't forget to keep watching Friday Double Bill, where we bring you the best of the critics and the Janta.
So here's Khiladi Kumar with the trailer of this week. It's entertainment.
मेरे पास लॉकेट है, लेटर है, बाप की तस्वीर है, डीएनए की बोतल है, डीएनए, डैडीज नाजायज औलाद। अखिल तू तो करोड़पति निकला यार। अब ये स्लम डॉग मिलियनेयर बन गया। बताइए अब कब टेक ओवर करूं?
टेक ओवर तो नहीं कर सकते, किसी और ने ओवरटेक कर लिया है।
कौन है वो कमीना?
ये पन्नालाल जोहरी के वारिस, इनका नाम एंटरटेनमेंट है।
एंटरटेनमेंट क्यों?
क्यों? यहाँ कबूतर का नाम मसकली हो सकता है, जमीन पर रहकर घोड़े का नाम बादल हो सकता है, आदमी का नाम महिला जयावर्धने हो सकता है, तो इनका नाम एंटरटेनमेंट क्यों नहीं हो सकता?
This is it. Faultless logic. Mayank, entertainment has gone to the dogs, literally.
You know, I think when the film releases, and since we've been doing Oh My God moments, I think what we should do is a hashtag Oh My Dog moments from this film.
This is the Khiladi at his best. completely unabashed, decided to pander to the lowest common denominator, electrifying performance.
Absolutely. I think given the number of films he's done which look exactly the same, they could save on a lot of money by just having some of those, deleted scenes and stuff that's remaining from the previous films and just put together something that looks like this. Of course, they would have to get a dog who looks, looks awesome. So far as the lead actor of this film concerned. But I think why I'm looking forward to this movie, let's be absolutely fair to its entertainment, is that usually what happens with most films, and that's my big, my pet peeve as it were, is that the promos look so much better than the actual film. Now my point is, if the promo looks like this, there is no movie that won't be better than this promo. So, it might actually, no matter what it is, it has to be better than this promo.
Well, there's Sajid, not Sajid Khan, but another Sajid of Sajid and Farhad,
right?
Who are legend for their dialogue bazi, and we've seen some smatterings of that. So this is going to be a tough week when we finally go and watch this movie.
Also this week we ran a contest, Midweek Happiness, and here are the winners.
Well, that's all we have for you this week on Friday Double Bill. Over to Mayank.
Well, this was a good week at the movies. I hope next week is equally good or perhaps even better. Do watch the show, Friday Double Bill, and subscribe to our channel.